After 1 year, 42 videos, 1,700 subscribers, and 225,000 views. I'm super thankful for this experience here on YouTube. Some of you have asked how I make my videos, so today I thought, studio tour. Hey, I'm Jerry, and in this behind the scenes video with 42 videos under my belt, I've changed how I make these videos almost 42 times. I keep trying to improve, whether it's the camera, the set, the lighting, the sound, my hair, anything. I'm going to show you what I use as of today because tomorrow it could be completely different, including the hair. Before I get to my main camera, I want to say that I love responding to all of the questions and comments that you have, so if you're curious about the gear or how I use it, drop it in the comments below. All right, so my main camera is an iPhone 11. Yeah, I shoot with iPhones. I started this channel with just my iPhone XS, but I ended up needing to buy another camera because I had trouble shooting my iPhone and its accessories with just the iPhone that I had. So I bought a Canon M50. I tried using my iPad Pro before that to film the iPhone and accessories, but it was pretty cumbersome trying to put an iPad on a tripod or overhead and try and film something. The Canon M50 was great, but it was limited to 1080p without massive crop and loss of autofocus. When it came to my current use, it just was not any better than an iPhone. I plan on upgrading and getting a better camera in the future when I can afford one. I would like a full frame that doesn't cost $5,000, so if you have any suggestions. I ended up getting this iPhone 11 for about $150 from a carrier and made it my primary camera. So actually, you know what? Let me show you. We'll go around back in just a moment, but you can see that the iPhone 11 here is mounted to this arm, and on top of it, or in front of it, I have this Parrot Padcaster teleprompter. Let me turn on this light and we'll go around back so you can see it. This iPhone 11, which is yellow, is in this blue Moment lens case, and it is attached to the Parrot via this Teleprompter Pad Adapter. So this teleprompter pad allows you to mount the iPhone onto a tripod and then connect it to this Parrot Padcaster or Padcaster Parrot teleprompter, which uses an iPhone as the teleprompter display. What's been nice about using this iPhone 11 is my main camera is that it's got a pretty bright lens at about 1.8 aperture or f1.8. It's brighter than the Canon M50 was, which allows me to keep the ISO pretty low and use less noise. With the Canon, I had to actually crank up the ISO to get the exposure that I was looking for, and it created a lot of extra noise, which made it not any better than the iPhone. You can see on here that the app that I'm using to record is actually Filmic Pro. And Filmic Pro is awesome for a number of reasons. It gives you full manual control over a lot of features on the iPhone. And because I can't actually see the display from back here when I'm sitting on my chair over there, I use the app called Filmic Remote, which allows me to remotely control it from an iPad. So let me show you that. As you can see from this iPad, I can record and monitor everything that's running off of this iPhone over here. Before you hit record, you can change the frame rate and audio settings, and you can change the ISO and shutter speed to get the motion blur or whatever effect you want, and also the white balance, and you can choose color profiles and other things as well. Like I said, I was using the Padcaster Parrot teleprompter, and that is an iPhone 6 that is just running, oops, don't do that. An iPhone 6 that is running that, and that just sits right on top of there using the Parrot app, and it can display things back at me so I can see what I want to talk about. And sometimes I do a full-on script where I have every word that I want to say written. Sometimes I just use bullet points, sometimes I don't use it at all. Usually it's some kind of mix. I wouldn't say that I generally stick to a script 100%, even if I write the whole thing out, because sometimes I just think of something better on the fly, or words just don't come out right, or I want to say something that I didn't put in the script. To power everything, I use this Anker PowerPort 5. Oh, let me turn this light off. Maybe. There we go. So I use this Anker PowerPort 5, which has got 4 USB-A ports and a USB-C port, and I use that to charge the iPhones that are the cameras or the iPads or the teleprompter or whatever. Using this front camera, you can see that my microphone that I usually use is this Rode Video Micro NTG, and let me bring that over here. I've gone through a lot of microphones in the last year, from Rode and lavalier mics and from the iPhone itself, and this is the one that I've settled on. I like it the most so far. It has a number of options from high level pass to reducing the dB and things like that. I wouldn't say I'm an audio engineer, but this thing has made my life a little bit easier and gives me pretty good sound. Now this microphone is usually just right out of frame. It's about 12 inches or so away from my mouth, maybe 14 inches when I'm sitting on this stool here. For recording the audio, I usually have it connected to the Tascam DR10L. This guy is a tiny little portable voice recorder, which works extremely well. I get better audio out of this than I do directly into a camera or an iPhone. Less noise, less hiss. It works really well and it's very simple to use. The DR10L actually comes with a lavalier microphone, which I've used in previous videos, and I'm using for this video because I knew I'd be walking around. Next to the microphone, I have another mount here for an iPhone that I use for top-down shots. I use an iPhone SE for my B-roll camera, which you can see right here, and I use it for B-roll and top-down and pretty much other things when I need to be mobile away from this desk, or even just shooting from a different angle. Oh yeah, and this DJI Osmo 3 gimbal, which is awesome. They just came out with a new one, but this guy is super handy for taking panning shots for B-roll, or when you're walking around, or if you're just trying to film yourself and you don't want the thing bouncing all over the place. It makes your stabilization on your video so much better. You can see I can kind of go move around, and there's different modes that this has. If you use the DJI app, you're going to get a lot of different options to be able to control this, but it will work in a basic mode without using the app, and it works pretty well. And for the camera software I'm using on this today, I'm using Filmic Double Take for the first time. It allows me to record the front and the rear camera together at the same time, and then I guess it splits them out. So it only records in 1080p when we're using this app and recording multiple cameras at the same time. So hopefully it's not too bad for this video, but I thought it was pretty cool because I could show you what I'm looking at, and also you can see me. All right, so back up here, this iPhone mount and the Rode Video Mic NTG are connected to this In-Yo-Gear microphone arms. These things are not very expensive. I think they're about $17, and they work really well. And I'll put links to all of this stuff in the description below. And these guys are connected to a Wally mount. So thanks to Everyday Dad and DSLR Shooter, I found this Wally arm. Well, they found it and I copied what they did. This Wally arm is a VESA mount to attach a monitor to, so you can have your monitor swinging around your desk. You would normally clamp this to a desk and be able to position your monitor wherever you want. So it comes with this tall base here, and it comes with one arm that this guy's connected to. But I also bought a second arm based on DSLR Shooter's recommendation. And the mount's really nice for mounting a bunch of things to it, as you can see I have. The only thing I did differently with this arm is that I attached it to something else. I originally attached it to the desk the way DSLR Shooter did, but every time I moved the desk, every time I touched it or put a product on it, the camera would shake because my camera is attached to the arm. So what I decided to do was build a sawhorse. I found this Woodstock sawhorse brackets on Amazon, which are awesome. So they come with these black mounts and the bolts that you need, and then of course you buy a 2x6 or a 2x8 and cut those to the size that you want. And what I did is I sanded down the sides, kind of rounded out the corners, and then I stained them with a gray stain, and I think it came out pretty well. And by doing that, of course, it gets the mount off of the desk, so when I put stuff on it or I put my hands down, it doesn't shake the camera and the microphone and everything else. So my lighting that I'm using is these ESDDI softbox lights. They come with 5500 Kelvin bulbs, and it's pretty cheap. The two lights together with the stands come in a bag and the bulbs, and I think it's around $70 or $80. These lights are not expensive and they work pretty well. The package of two fits in a tiny little bag. The light that I use behind me in this current setup is this Viltrox LED. This also comes in a pack of two. I think it's a little bit more expensive, about $180 for the pack of two. And they are controlled by a remote, and you can change the color temperature and the brightness on these guys. These also had issues with diffusion, so I don't use those as my key lights to shine on me anymore, but they work great for accent lights or things like that. And the other accent lighting I have is these LifeX LED strips. These of course can be changed to any color like hue lights or whatever else. They're controlled with an app, and they come in a starter kit which has the controller and one strip, and you can buy additional strips that go with them. They work pretty well, and sometimes I change up the color just for my mood. I have different colors for work or for shooting videos. Real quick, some of the other things that I like to use when shooting the videos are these little mini tripods. This one's a Manfrotto. I use moment cases and moment lenses or ND filters sometimes. I use this Samsung T7 SSD to transfer large video files off of my iPhones so that I can get them onto my computer or iPad. AirPlay also works great for smaller videos, and you can see a video up here about how to move files between iOS devices. And here's that newer slider that I was talking about a minute ago that allows me to mount my phone onto it, and then I can take B-roll shots by slowly sliding left or right. And it's given me some pretty good work. You can see that on some of the iMac videos that have been recently posted. For editing videos, I go back and forth between LumaFusion and Premiere Pro on my iMac. On the iMac, I've actually just started experimenting with Final Cut Pro, and so far I am not a big fan, but I'm gonna keep at it. I'm gonna try and learn it and see if it makes sense. The iMac I'm talking about, of course, is the 2020 iMac, and you might notice this from previous videos. I used to have my desk sitting in front of this view so you could see all this stuff behind, but my issue was sometimes I get cluttered and I didn't want to have to clean up the mess every time I made a video. Then of course my beloved 2018 iPad Pro. This thing is amazing. I use it for almost everything, including video editing on about half of my videos or more since I started, and I just love it. Choosing between editing on my iMac and editing on the iPad Pro comes down to the type of video I'm making. If I'm making something that's more linear, just an A-roll shot and then maybe some B-roll, I prefer editing on the iPad. Using LumaFusion is the most enjoyable editing experience that I've used. I can sit down, I can use the pencil, I can cut it and dice it and add effects and everything else, and it just is super smooth and it's so fast. I mean, way faster than in my iMac at just reading the video and even rendering it. When I'm shooting multicam like I am right now, where I have my main camera and then one or two others, I prefer to use something on the desktop because the multicam video editing is much better. I can put them both in, they will sync, and then as I'm going through it, I can just hit 1, 2, 3, whatever it is on the keyboard to switch back and forth between the angles. So these are the things that I use to make my videos after 1 year on YouTube. I really want to thank everyone who has subscribed and watched my videos because that really motivates me to keep trying this whole thing out. If you're new and just looking to start making videos, you don't need all this crap that I have. You can start with your phone, a tripod, and a window. In fact, I have the perfect video for you to watch on how to do that right over here. Hit subscribe if you want, hit thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know below what you think of my setup or if you have any questions about it, because I really do enjoy responding to your questions. And I'll see you next time.